to the Geekly Gab and Nerdical Nonsense Show. Now, here's your hosts, Shane and Randy.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 5 of the Geekly Gab and Nerdical Nonsense Show. I am Shane.
I'm Randy.
I'm Jimithy.
And we are here to get down on the Marvel Cinematic Universe catch-up special. I don't know if it's really considered a special. I mean, we're going to be talking about a lot of movies today, so I mean, I figure it's kind of special to me, anyways. I don't know about you guys, but we're going to get into so many movies. We're going to get into all 3 phases that have been put out. Obviously phase 3 isn't out yet, but we're going to talk a little about it, and we got a couple lists for you, so let's kick it into it. We're going to start discussing phase 1. Starting the phase 1 was the first Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr., Jon Favreau directing. How do you guys feel about that movie?
I actually enjoyed that one more than 2. I mean, 2 is essentially the same thing. He's fighting someone in an Iron Man suit. I mean, it was whiplash in the beginning, but he had a suit in the end. It was essentially same thing. But the first one, I actually did like it.
Right. And most of these movies in the cinematic universe for phase 1 was just completely set up movies to finish phase 1 with the Avengers. Like, you could clearly tell that as you were going along by the time Avengers was coming up. So me personally, I enjoyed Iron Man a lot. I thought Favreau was a very good choice for director. Basically hinting towards the 9 Rings of Mandarin in it got me giddy, wanting more. Couldn't wait for a sequel. Downey Jr., like Brandon said last podcast, like the one thing that Marvel does perfect is casting. And with Downey Jr., there's no exception. It's fucking, he is Tony Stark. And, like, there's nobody else I could see as Tony Stark. So, what about you, Jimithy?
I say Iron Man 1 will always hold a special plate in my nerdy heart because that's the first time you're getting to see a live-action Iron Man on screen, big screen, right in front of your eyes.
True that.
And, yeah, just holds that special place in your heart. And like you said, Robert Downey Jr., perfect. And
it starts the tie-in towards Avengers because, like, I believe the Easter egg in there was what Nick Fury approaching Iron Man or something like that, or approaching somebody, or was it Coulson? I don't know. The big tie-in through Phase 1 was Agent Coulson basically trying to recruit everybody.
Coulson kept bugging him trying to talk to him throughout the movie.
Throughout the movie, yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, the next movie in the Phase 1 was The Incredible Hulk. And that was with Edward Norton playing Bruce Banner. And we got to see a live-action Abomination, which I thought was pretty damn cool. And, I mean, he looked really good. I thought they did well. It's definitely 8 steps up from Ang Lee's Hulk movie, because, my God, was that terrible. In my opinion, anyways.
So you're just talking Hulk?
Huh?
The Hulk.
We're talking The Incredible Hulk.
I know we're talking that, but you're talking about...
I'm referring to Ang Lee's Hulk with Eric Bana.
Hulk.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Hulk, yeah. I call it Ang Lee's Hulk.
I'm guilty of owning a copy of that, though.
I am as well. I am as well because, personally, I've always been a supporter of Marvel movies because... DC as well. I've always been a superhero, super fanatic, so I've always collected the movies. I'm pretty sure I even have a copy of Batman Forever somewhere, and I'm very ashamed to say that. So I mean, because back then it's not like this day and age. Back then we had to take what we got. That was it. You weren't gonna see anything. That was what you got basically. Now it's like the fans control what happens, and it's like you're gonna see more push towards being exactly towards the comics. You know what I mean? More exact to the comics, anyways. Yeah. But still putting their little fucking twist into it. They gotta throw their own creativity into it. But yeah. Anyways, back to the Hulk. I really enjoyed seeing Abomination, the come up of Abomination, and then of course the tie-in at the end to Avengers. Going up to Thunderbolt Ross and talking about the Avengers Initiative basically. So, and it just keeps, like I said, the wheels just keep turning towards that Avengers movie for 2012.
And was not the Easter egg at the end of Hulk finding Thor's hammer?
No.
Was that Hulk
no.
or was that Iron Man 2?
That was
Iron Man 2, I
Was it?
believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Thor's little Easter egg in the Hulk was when he and Betty were in a cave, and you heard thunder hit, and he screams, he like yells, he like roars at the sky, and basically what they hint towards is that you see somebody flying, zipping across the sky after that lightning bolt, and that's supposed to be Thor. I believe that was the little Easter egg that they put for that in the Incredible Hulk. At least that's what I was told. I don't know if that's confirmed, so hop on the comments and let us know, because we don't like being wrong here. But anyways, let's move on to Iron Man 2. You already talked a little bit about it.
Yeah. Mickey Rourke
Whiplash. Yeah, I liked Mickey Rourke as Whiplash. It was interesting. As a sequel, I thought it lacked a little bit, just a tad, but it didn't lack that Downey Marvel Iron Man charm, though. That was still very present in the film.
No,
to me, it wasn't a bad film, but it was kind of an average film. You know what I mean?
It just seemed like it followed the first one way too much. Like, it just to be, in the end, all they did was they added in War Machine to help fight.
Which I enjoyed.
Tony.
That was another thing that I really enjoyed was the War Machine. That like I personally like War Machine better than I do Iron Man. I've always been a bigger fan of War Machine. So bringing in Rhodes in the first movie, him hinting, that's why I really enjoyed the first movie. I should go back to Iron Man 1 and say when they showed Terrence Howard actually looking at the suit and going, all right, next time. You know what I mean? That right there was like, oh yes, oh fucking yeah. And then of course Don Cheadle ends up replacing Terrence Howard as Rhodey, and he actually gets to go into the suit, and I was really happy about that. And the one thing I did enjoy for Iron Man 2 more than anything was the points in time with Tony when he was going up and down with alcohol, because that's really true to the comics. Like, he's a full-blown alcoholic at one point. You know what I mean? And he lets his party, he lets his freak flag fly. Let's say that.
Yeah, the party in the Iron Man suit where he ends up fighting War Machine.
Yeah, that I thought was probably the absolute best part of Iron Man 2. I don't know. What do you think, Jimithy?
I don't know. I kind of thought Iron Man 2 was a little bit better than the first one.
Really?
But the first one, like I said, still holds a special part in my nerdy heart.
Okay.
I don't know. I just thought, with the excitement of the first one and the second one coming out, might have just been me, but I also think the second one was still riding the coattails of the first Iron Man.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, it was lacking in parts, but I did like Mickey Rourke. I liked Whiplash a lot better than the introduction of the Mandarin, which I don't feel was very true anyways.
And he definitely was a better villain than the first movie's Ironmonger. Like
Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, Jeff Bridges' Ironmonger was alright, and it was alright for a setup movie, but they did step up villain-wise for Iron Man 2 when they brought in Rourke as Whiplash. I thought that was definitely one thing they did outdo the first one in. So, and of course they added another hero, like you said. They brought in War Machine. Alright, let's move on to Thor. The first Thor movie. You want to start, Jimithy? You haven't started one yet.
Oh,
Mr. Hemsworth.
I think the first Thor is honestly one of my lower on the bar of the Marvel Cinematic Universes.
Yeah.
It really is. I enjoyed it, but I don't know, out of all the other ones, I think it lacks for me.
Yeah, well, mind you, like I said before, all these movies in Phase 1 were just basically a setup film for Avengers to get the ball rolling, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. Even compared to some of the others in Phase 1, it still lacked a bit for me.
Right. Yeah, you really didn't get to see much of Asgard. A lot of it took place in Earth, or Midgard, as they refer to it as.
If I had to compare it, I guess I'll go on the ball and compare it to how they brought Super Mario Brothers into the live-action universe.
Okay.
A little bit in that way. Like, they took away too much from the basis of the Thor storyline, I think. They could have built up more with the character.
Right. The character, well, there's a nice handful of characters that they introduced in the first Thor film.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Me personally, I kind of agree with you. It is on the lower end of my favorite of the Phase 1s, definitely. I'd say that getting to see just Thor and Loki interacting, I thought that was really cool. But I mean, that's kind of like we said before, the setup film. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see them acting as brothers at first, and then something's gonna go down, and blah blah blah. Me personally, I loved Anthony Hopkins as Odin. I thought that was a really good cast.
That was good.
The one thing I did love about the first film was the feud between Thor and Odin more than Thor and Loki, because that is very true to the comics. There are some points in the storyline where Thor's like, "You're an old fool and I hate your guts," basically, and I wish I could strip your powers and take him over, so, basically kind of Loki about it. And he gets that way, not as crazy obviously as Loki, but I like that kind of started everything with Thor, and then eventually it got to an even bigger conflict. He's not fighting with his dad anymore. Now he's in a real battle with his brother on Earth, which is, I'm referring to Avengers, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the one thing I did like about Thor, and then obviously introducing all those Thor characters. So, what about you, Randy?
Yeah, I felt that it was adequate. I mean, for a setup, it did lack, but at the same time, I like to struggle with, being worthy over the hammer.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that was pretty cool too. And that kind of falls in with the conflict between him and Odin, is that he sets a stipulation basically, once my son is worthy, he can get his hammer back, basically. Because he knew that nobody else was going to claim that hammer.
And it's actually, it was a little bit more humorous too, because it was he's speaking the way he speaks.
Another!
Just
crash,
slamming down glasses and breaking shit.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I agree. What about our next movie here, which is Captain America and the First Avenger? I want to know what you think, Randy, and I'm going to spark this bowl. And before I spark this bowl, we're going to go down with our 3 S's, because we haven't listed our 3 S's yet, and we have to every podcast.
Yep.
And that's we smoke, we swear, we're so sorry that we're not sorry. So I'm going to spark this bowl. Tell them what you think of Captain America. What?
I kind of enjoyed it, and it's also set up. It ties in, with the Tesseract, but the villain,
Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull.
Yes. That's more what I enjoyed. I'm growing into a Cap fan. I have the shirt on. I got this for Winter Soldier.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Hugo Weaving, I agree. Hugo Weaving was killer as the Red Skull, and personally, I cannot wait until he reappears in the cinematic universe, and I'm hoping it's before Infinity Wars. I think it's going to be. I think we might see a hint during Civil War, and if we do, that's my prediction. So put it on a note right here. That's what I'm saying. But
have they confirmed that it is going to be Hugo Weaving still?
I would hope so, because
I would hope so too.
Right. I mean, Marvel's been pretty good with keeping their characters the same. We haven't. I mean, I don't even know when the Incredible Hulk came out. It was the second movie in Phase 1. That Thunderbolt Ross is Thunderbolt Ross in the Civil War preview. So I mean, they are holding true, and they're key. I'm guaranteed these guys are under contract for a long time, because basically it's like you're gonna be a Marvel character. You're basically gonna be a legend in our cinematic universe. You need to stay until we are done with you, or we kill you off. Whatever we decide to do. So this is a 20-year contract or some shit. That's my guess. It's my assumption. I don't really know how Hollywood works. I'm a Michigan boy, so. But, anyways, yeah, I did enjoy Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull. I can't wait for his return. I'm really hoping it is Hugo Weaving, like we just said. What about you, Jimithy? How do you feel about the First Avenger?
I very much enjoyed the First Avenger. I looked forward to that one when I heard they were making it in the first place. Saw the first trailers, everything for that. I've liked Captain America since I was a little kid. That one was a good one. I think that's one of my top favorites out of Phase 1 for sure. Yeah, I just like seeing the buildup of the Super Soldier program, and actually it's just seeing how all that goes about. And I think Hugo Weaving was definitely indeed the best choice for Red Skull.
And you know what? It seemed like there was a lot more action in that first movie than there was in any of the other Like, because honestly, Captain America: First Avenger gets a real bad rap, in my opinion.
It does.
Sometimes it does.
A lot of people considers it the worst of the Phase 1 movies. I do not, because there is way more action in that film than there is Thor, by far. Some could even say more than Iron Man. Iron Man 2 had a lot more action in it, I believe. But, like, the first Iron Man, even, I believe that Captain America had... I mean, because constantly you saw him and his team fighting Nazis, you know what I mean? And that's what it was. So, yeah, me personally, I thought Captain America First Avenger was a great setup. And it was basically tying in Phase 1 in a nice little package and bow. So when Avengers comes out, you knew exactly what was happening. You knew exactly which characters they were bringing in. You knew exactly which characters were absolutely new to the Avengers movie. And you knew exactly like what to expect when you saw that combination of all these superheroes in a conglomerate film. You know, that's what I've been waiting for my entire life of watching superhero movies. You know, when they started with the first Iron Man and they started hinting towards Avengers, you know, I felt like a kid in a candy store is the very stereotypical term. You know, it was very, very amazing to hear that they're finally gonna start tying all these superheroes in.
Because a lot of trial and error, though. Yeah,
there has been a lot of trial and error, but you know, honestly, in my opinion, it has been worth it because they are finally gotten everything going, and not only that, they've picked up the pace with DC. DC's like, holy shit, look what these guys are doing, and that it's the truth because I mean, they were doing films back in the day with Warner Brothers, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't when Marvel started getting that cinematic universe rolling with this Phase 1. I think it woke up DC and they're like, holy shit, if we don't do something quick, we're gonna get shut out completely. Yeah, completely. And I mean, they do have the ball rolling finally with Dawn of Justice, and they're getting Suicide Squad tied in, so on and so forth. But man, it's gonna be a really hard journey for them. But at the same time, they have the chance to pick up any of the errors that Marvel left behind and correct them for themselves too.
That is very true.
So it's a two-way street, honestly.
It's very true. And I don't know, Captain America, it was good. Like I said, I'm new to it. I understand it. I understand where he comes from. I enjoy the first movie, and it's a setup to what would be next, the Avengers, correct?
Yes,
all Phase 1.
Yep.
All story builders.
Yes, basically. And then we find the finale of Phase 1, which is, goddamn, was it one hell of a fucking finale.
It was.
Like, they did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. Like, the fact that, I don't know, just everything they did with, like, it's just so hard to explain. Like, when we went opening weekend to Avengers, I didn't know what to expect, but I did know what to expect at the same time. Pure, sheer badassness. And we saw it, man. We got to see fucking Hulk rage out and just fucking... They gave Hulk no handcuffs. Nothing. There was nothing holding him back. It was just pure Hulk smash. You know what I mean? That was probably the most iconic line in that movie, was when Cap said that. But, like, just watching him just go ham, and he just seriously just... He drops... I don't even know what those things are called, but he drops one of those big-ass fucking... floaty monsters from one of those Chitauri things. I don't know what the hell they're called, but goddamn, I was a super nerd that day. Like, by far the best movie in Phase 1, which everybody knew that was gonna be so anyways. But just seeing all them come together, Loki trying to pit them apart basically, and you know, tying in everything with the characters from Captain America and Thor and all that shit. I loved it.
It was great.
Absolutely,
it was. Had its own humors in it, too. You know,
absolutely.
As they always do.
Puny God, that was probably the best one in my opinion.
Yes.
Puny God. And, of course, doth your mother knoweth you weareth her drapes? Yeah. Downey really shined in the comedy section. Like, in both Avengers movies, honestly, he really shines with the comedic value. You know what I mean? He brings it every time.
Oh, I know.
I love it.
That man is playing Galaga.
Yeah. Yeah, don't act like we didn't see it. What about you? What do you think?
What do I think of Avengers?
Absolutely.
I think it's definitely one of the best.
Out so far.
Yeah. I'd have to say one of the best out so far, strictly because you're seeing all these first-time cinematic storylines come together in one big boom boom of a blockbuster.
Yeah, it's definitely history in the making when you see that.
For lack of a better word, they Michael Bay'd it.
Oh yes, plenty of explosions.
You're right. And it was very epic, like everything they did with it, and they showed the world that the Avengers will do what they can to stop evil, stop things from happening to the world. Like, the world got to see that, and, at the end of the movie, you see people wearing cap shirts, people with Hulk gloves and masks walking around, people painting murals, thank you, in New York City and shit like that. Like, it's giving that realistic feeling, like, oh my god, you have all these people that appreciate this, you know what I mean? And they really do focus on that in the comics, so it's cool that they showed that in Avengers. But yeah, definitely the best Phase 1 movie. And then, of course, the very end, like, the last thing you see is them talking about the Avengers being not as puny as they thought, so-and-so, and you get to see the man. You get to see the fucking man. You get to see Thanos, or Thanos, I don't know, it's been pronounced either or, from what I've seen, but yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that chair turn around, and we see Thanos smile, oh man, I lost my fucking shit. And I mean, so did the whole theater. Like, we had a lot of nerdy people in our fucking theater that day, because we just heard people go, holy shit, it's fucking Thanos! Oh my, like, and I was doing the same thing, man. It was fucking awesome. And like that right there, you realize what their goal is. They are aiming towards the Infinity War.
Yes.
Like, as soon as you saw that face and that smile, you knew. You were like, this is happening. Because, I mean, the next day after opening night, they came out like, hey, holy shit, did you see Thanos? I mean, you didn't see the gauntlet, but I mean, are we going to see Infinity Wars? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, now it's happening. 2019, 2018, I believe, are the two dates. So we're going to see that shit. In a few years, we're going to see Infinity Wars. Exactly what everybody thought was going to happen. You know what I mean? And that just brought the ultimate awesome, just tag in and you just hold on to that. And you just hold on to that thought until we bring you Phase 2. It was the perfect ending, in my opinion.
Yep.
Perfect ending.
That was actually where they introduced, the first of the stones is in Avengers, but...
Yeah, the Tesseract. Yep.
Well, I mean, technically it's Cap, but... in Captain America, the first Avenger, but that, you don't know it quite yet.
Yeah, you just think it's something they use for weaponry, basically.
Yeah.
But alright, that's the end of Phase 1. Like we've already said multiple times, it was definitely a setup phase. But, now that we get the ball rolling into Phase 2, you're going to just see how they expand the universe and make what they have already shown you even better, basically. But now we're going to go into one of our lists. Let's see. Let's do the top 3 favorite MCU characters. Now we're going to be basing this off from Iron Man down to Ant-Man, basically. So we can't say Deadpool, although we all know Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is going to be fucking amazing in February.
Yes.
It is technically not out yet. We haven't seen the film, so we're not going to... He's not technically part of this list right now. Everything that's come out up to Ant-Man basically is what we base this list off.
Unfair.
Yeah, I know. It's I'm an asshole, but anyways, I'll start it out. My number 3 was Vin Diesel voicing Groot.
Oh yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy was not only an amazing movie, but the people they had playing. Everybody, like the entire team,
I agree.
Like, is just solid.
I'll agree.
And he will agree. Jimithy will agree. I mean, like I really didn't know. I didn't really know the guy who plays Peter Quill. What's his name?
That is Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Yes, I really didn't know Chris Pratt. I'd never seen anything with him in it. So I really wasn't sure about him at first. But after watching the film, I was sold. That's Star-Lord. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did really, really fucking well. And I mean, Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon was amazing. Yes. Rocket Raccoon is my favorite Guardian, and I wanted to know how he was going to be represented, and they did so fucking well. So well with that.
And then Drax.
Dave Bautista. Yep, Dave Bautista is Drax.
That was the one I questioned, and he nailed it.
Absolutely, he fucking nailed it. I do not know the actress's name who plays Gamora, but she did very well too. I know she's very privy to like action and sci-fi films, so she was perfect for the role.
Yes.
And it's tough to play one of Thanos' daughters, so she did it really well. But back to Groot. Not only do I love him as a character, what they did with him, and how Vin Diesel sounded as Groot, but the fact that Vin Diesel, he did like, I don't know how many hundreds of different takes of the term I am Groot during his recording sessions. But not only that, I respect the man for every different language that you can hear in there, you can switch to in the DVD and or Blu-ray of the film. It is still Vin Diesel as the voice. It's not some other guy that they're having doing not doing the terms. No, it is actually Vin Diesel in that language. And I really respect that. Like, he's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all. You know what I mean? And he did so well. I mean, one of my favorite parts is with Groot. I mean, it doesn't require any voice thing at all, but I mean, I just loved how they did Groot and the actor that they chose. So that was my number 3. My number 2 is Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson. Phil Coulson is fucking amazing. He was invented in Iron Man. Like, that was one thing I wondered about if he was in the comics at all. I didn't remember him from the comics, and that's why he was created specifically in Iron Man to tie in the Avengers Initiative. So, I've only seen so far a little bit of season 2 and the entire season of season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm slacking on my pimping on that for sure. So I'm gonna get up to date on that. We are going to do a podcast for that and Agent Carter, probably going to get to be all in one. But
okay.
Anyways, from what I've seen of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and what he did in Avengers, and basically in Phase 1 entirely, it's just amazing. Like, he was the entire tie-in throughout Phase 1, basically. Yeah. They started with him and Sam Jackson, and like, I mean, you saw Sam Jackson here and there, but I mean, it was Phil all the way, you know?
Yeah.
Phil came in and he's like, I'm here to help. You know, eventually it's like, I'm here to recruit you, and then it's like, I'm here to help, and you know what I mean? And then now it's like, join us, we're a team now, blah, blah, blah. And then everybody thinks he dies. So, yeah. But I really enjoy him as an actor. He's a very good actor. He's perfect for the role. Goes back to casting again, you know, casting was perfect.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see his reappearance to the Avengers and when they're going to do it. I want to see him actually approach Iron Man and then freak the fuck out. Because, like, by now, how did they not know that Phil Coulson's alive? Like, you know, that's one thing I worry about. And they might cover that later on in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I don't know, but...
My only answer to that would be is the Avengers they don't have enough clearance.
Right.
They've even said that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's true, yeah.
Or are they level 7? I think Avengers are level 7 and Coulson's at a 9.
Well, no, he's not anymore. Coulson's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. now.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and I'm a season behind on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
I think you're 2, because they're on 3 now.
Yeah,
2?
Yeah.
Stacking up with Pippin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, that Clark Gregg was awesome as Phil Coulson. That's all that can be said, honestly. He was very comedic, especially in Avengers.
Well, I'll just say this. Watch it. When you get to season 3, season 2 is kind of a little slow here and there, but once you get to season 3, I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, because we're going to see Inhumans. Mm-hmm. I know. I've already heard some stuff about it.
Oh, yes.
A little bit of spoiler, a little bit of non... I mean, I already expect... At the end of season 1, you kind of get a hint towards Inhumans, so I knew it was going that direction anyways. But, yeah, I know Sky's an Inhuman. I cannot
with all the Netflix
wait.
shows that are coming out, it's definitely happening.
Yeah. I know they pushed the date on Inhumans, but I mean it's for good reason. So I don't want them to see it rushed anyways, because that's another off-brand or offshoot kind of comic book movie they're doing that not many people really know.
Yeah.
So if they rush it, it might not do very well. You know what I mean? So I appreciate the fact that they kind of held off on it, and they're probably gonna tie more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into it before they get to Inhumans, is my guess. But anyways, I'll get back to my list. My number 1 is Robert Downey Jr. as the Iron Man. By far the most 100% accurate casting Marvel has done. Marvel/Disney now, I should say. But this was pre-Disney. Marvel did so good with it. I was really impressed with Robert Downey Jr. by the first movie. Even in the second film that I thought was lacking a bit, he didn't disappoint. The third movie got a little more serious, but at the same time, he still kept that Tony Stark charm. The Avengers movies, he's obviously the comedic, the comedic value of it. So, I mean, there's other stuff, but he's the kind of main straight comedy in those films. But I really enjoyed just the way he looks, the way he acts. It's just Tony Stark. He is Tony Stark. Nobody. It more than works. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like it's right on there, 200%. Yep. Not even 100%. 200%.
200%.
Hashtag 200%.
Hashtag keep it 200.
But anyways, that's my list. Who else wants to go?
Would you like to go?
I can go. I say I was up in arms with my number 3, and I almost had Vin Diesel Groot, as well as you did. I was going to have a double number 3, and it would have been Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel.
You know what? One of the funny thing, I don't mean to cut you off, but the funny thing is, I thought the exact same thing for my list. Not gonna lie.
They kind of go hand in
200%.
hand. You have Groot, you have Rocket. It's kind of one and the same.
Yeah, they're a team.
But my number 3 would have to be James Spader as Ultron. I think Ultron's not really something you need a face of an actor for, and Spader had that voice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And when I heard that in the trailer for the first time, spot on, I was sold.
There are no strings on me.
It was,
that was really good.
Yeah, I was sold on that when I heard his voice.
Absolutely, yeah. When I heard that as well, I was pretty, you got one of those like, oh my goodness, you kind of seemed like a fangirl, like NSYNC was coming to town in the early 90s, or late 90s, excuse me.
And all of Ultron's minions, I guess all of Tony
Ultron
Stark's,
bots.
the Ultron bots, those are also voiced by Spader as well. He went back and voiced all of those.
Yep. That's really fucking cool. I agree with that.
It just works 100%. So great. His voice is, I think, perfect for that role.
Agreed.
My number 2, going back to Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt as Peter Quill's Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
Yes.
That, I think, was absolutely perfect. I think Chris Pratt is an amazing actor, and he definitely brings that role of Star-Lord to life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very true.
And my number 1, tied with you here, Shane, Robert Downey Jr. as the Invincible Iron Man. I think that 2 of any casting they have done for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that is 100% accurate.
Oh, yeah.
And for the fact, I think he can relate to the character. Going through some of the same things as Tony Stark has, battling with alcohol, exactly. I think he can feel for that character in more ways than one.
Absolutely. And I think that's one big reason why, knowing that whole battle Downey's had himself, and then then finding out he became Iron Man, it eased my pain into pre-Iron Man, basically. So I agree with that, because you're like, well, he's battled with alcoholism himself, so he's probably gonna be really great for this role, and he did. He blew everybody away. Yeah. Nobody even need to have that. They could have been like Batfleck, like fuck this, fuck that. I don't want his. No, come on, you can find somebody better. No, fuck that. Because he came in there and he didn't fucking have to prove nothing to nobody, and he showed up the entire
I've been 100% on board with Batfleck since they announced that. And I'm sure most people are against me when they've heard that, but I don't care. I think that was a great casting choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm the Bat fan out of the group. You got Green Lantern over here.
Yeah,
not quite sure where Alan lands yet, but
Jimithy lands more on the Spider-Man.
By the way,
I'm Spider-Man and Deadpool all day.
Yeah.
Alan is not here. He's out with his family for his brother's birthday.
Absolutely.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to Alan. We probably will see him very soon for our next podcast. I'm hoping so, because, man, our next podcast is going to be fun.
Yes.
Absolutely fun. All right, so that was your list?
Yeah, that'd be my top 3, being Ultron, Star-Lord, and the Invincible Iron Man. All those cinematic casting roles, I think, were great.
Yeah.
And then once again, I had Groot, Phil Coulson, and Iron Man as well.
Well, that's my turn, so I'm going to start off with my number 3, which is Paul Rudd, Ant-Man.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. Yeah, that was a good choice, man, because, I really enjoyed that as well.
It really was. It wasn't quite what you thought it should have been, Hank Pym, but it was its own thing, and it worked. There's comedy in it. I enjoyed it, and well, the train scene was probably the best part.
Yeah,
With the toys.
Yes.
The Thomas the Tank Engine scene, yeah. That was pretty good.
It expanding and bursting out of the fucking house.
I just love the giant ant just running around like a pet and shit like that.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
That was pretty dope.
And then I'm tied with you on number 2. I got Groot.
I had Groot was my third, actually.
Well, Groot is my number 2. Guardians of the Galaxy. My bad.
Oh, you're good.
Well, they got one up on you then.
Yep. But I enjoyed Vin Diesel's Groot. And as you said as well, hand in hand, Rocket Raccoon, Groot.
Yeah, they
Bradley
kinda...
Cooper did a great job.
And really, he
Fantastic.
like when I listen to the voice, I'm like, is that really Bradley Cooper? Like, it's really hard to tell if it's Bradley Cooper. If you didn't know, you wouldn't think it was Bradley Cooper. Like, that's one reason why I really enjoyed that as well. I mean, you knew Vin Diesel was Groot. You're like, yeah, that's definitely Vin Diesel. He's got a very distinct voice.
And then my number 1, we all tied on with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. That's what I should have said.
I'm pretty sure that's most MCU
100%,
fans.
I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's most MCU fans. Like, they all believe that Downey is the best, and he's the most perfect for the role. He's the most fitted. So, absolutely.
Going off the cuff of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Downey Jr. being perfect for Iron Man, that's just like Hugh Jackman being spot on for Wolverine.
Oh, yes.
I really don't think they could have found anyone better. I mean, I'm sure they could have, but at the time, with Hollywood how it is, popular actors, he's perfect.
Yeah.
And being an Aussie himself, you can't really get better than that.
Right. Yeah,
Sir Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier.
Yeah,
is
that was
also
really
a very good one.
I think those were the two that were spot on. Everything else kind of could have been whatever. Ian McKellen wasn't a bad Magneto, but they could have gave that to anybody.
Yeah.
They could have gave that to fucking Christopher Lee, and really got Ian McKellen butt hurt. He said, "Ha! Not only did I go White Wizard before you did, I became the master of magnetism."
Oh shit.
All right, so that's our first top 3 list. Now we're gonna start getting on to the Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that kicks off with Iron Man 3 as the first movie for Phase 2. Now, for me, I'll refer back to my Arrow TV series Roller Coaster. I was up and down about this one. The moment I saw the trailers and saw that we were going to see the Mandarin, I almost blew a load. I mean, I seriously was so happy because when they hinted towards the 9 Rings of Mandarin in the first Iron Man film, I'm like, this is going to be awesome because that's really one of the main villains for Tony Stark. So it was really awesome to see that. Now, going back to the Mandarin not being the Mandarin at the end of the film, that is where they lost me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the suit that he used, the one that could just go apart and come back to him and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. I don't know if they I didn't mind the seriousness that they took with it, but I didn't know if they should have replaced Favreau as the director. I mean, Favreau was kind of a consultant, basically. I believe Shane Huff was his name. Shane something was the new director for Iron Man 3, and Favreau just kind of helped out because he actually acted in. He still acted in Iron Man 3, okay. And so I don't know if they should have took Favreau down a peg, honestly, because he's a really good director in my personal opinion. And I think they should have kept Favreau, and I think he would have I think there was probably some calls that were made that he probably was like, well, not the way I would have took it.
Right. The Armada suits was pretty cool.
Yes.
I mean,
the Iron Legion, I believe is what it's called. Yes, yeah. The ending of that was pretty cool. But then the ultimate ending, again, is where it lost me.
Yeah,
is like, I'm going to take out my arc reactor, I'm going to throw it out. Like, at that point, I didn't know if Downey Jr. was coming back or not, you know what I mean? So at that point in time, I'm like, what the fuck? It left me, like, really confused.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm assuming, I haven't read much Iron Man. I have dabbled, but I haven't read much Iron Man. I do not know if that shrapnel ever does come out of him. I'm assuming that it does. I mean, he's pretty fucking smart. He can travel in space and shit like that. So I'm assuming he can devise a way to get that shit out of there.
Rich, smart.
Yeah. Playboy, philanthropist.
Yes.
I can't say that right now. Philanthropist. Philanthropist. There we go. I gotta say it weird. Anyways, the next movie is Thor in the Dark. Oh, actually, no, we didn't get to you, Jimithy. My bad. What did you think about Iron Man 3?
I thought it was pretty good, aside from the M. Night Shyamalan twist. I think
the Mandarin.
The Mandarin. the whole With the twist.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I'm not really the Mandarin, and this is kind of a reality show.
But then there's this. Pass out.
Yeah, he's
just sitting there. Wake up! Oh, they gave me a boat.
I just think
was that Iron Man 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Did anything in Iron Man 3 actually happen? I've questioned this because technically Tony Stark he's in a chair the entire time in a session with the Hulk, with Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
That's a deleted scene, isn't it? Or is that an Easter?
No, that's at the end of the movie.
Is it?
Yeah. He wakes up and he's like in a psychiatry session.
Right.
Like, I don't know what's going on. Did any of this really happen, or is this all in his head?
Right.
Have they ever confirmed any of that?
I don't know. I would say that it did happen, but
because
I don't know. If it did. Let us know in the comments if you guys know the answer to that question. So
that was the end, and as I take it, Banner was sleeping on him. Banner
Banner fell asleep on him. Like,
so maybe
that's interesting. Tell me more.
So maybe it was Banner's. Maybe it was just Banner's dream.
Maybe it was Banner's dream. We really don't know what happened during that session.
If it was Banner's dream, that would be so amazing. Is there anything you want to add on Iron Man 3?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good.
Thor in the Dark World was the next film.
Ooh.
This one I thought was pretty cool.
Malachi and the Dark Elves.
Yeah, the Dark Elves was a good addition. Definitely a step up from the first Thor film. And then, of course, we're getting into the next Infinity Stone.
Yes, the Ether.
The Ether, yep. So it's tying in, obviously. Every single movie ties into what they're eventually doing for 2018, 2019. So we're going to... but we got a little glimpse of another Infinity Stone, so that was really cool. It was had a lot of action to it. A lot of deception. That was one thing I liked, that there was a lot more deception in it in this one, and that's Loki's department all day. He is chaos. Yeah, he is chaos and deception. That's what he is. It's awesome. So that's how I feel about Thor in the Dark World.
I greatly enjoyed it. We went and seen it. I had watched The Shield that was before it.
With Lady Sif.
Yep. And then
I saw that too.
The one after it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we had watched them. We actually did that with Captain America and everything as well. Yep. Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's about where I dropped off. Is right when they tied in Winter Soldier to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's about where I dropped off on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I got to pick back up basically.
But I had seen the Lady Sith, and then it went and watched The Dark World, and I did enjoy it. It was better than the first one to me. It was working its way up there. You do get that other Infinity Stone, although they all kind of tie to Thor in a way.
They do. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And then you get all the craziness happening in England. You got weird dark elves and creatures jumping through portals, dimensions. Oh,
that's
man.
Pretty cool, yeah. It was pretty sweet. I enjoyed the not only the dark elves, but basically the ending with Odin and Loki and that deception. Because that's still in the air at this point.
Yep.
That's still in the air. We're not going to really see that pick back up until Ragnarok. So, which is what shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 movies away from
5
right
or 6 movies.
Yeah, from right now.
Isn't it November this year, or is it November next year?
I'm gonna say November of 2017. Yep, November of next year.
Okay, yeah.
So,
November of this year is Doctor Strange, I believe.
I believe so too. Yes, sir. November 2016. Yep, Doctor Strange. I got a little cheat sheet list here if anybody's wondering why I'm going, let me see here. Like 2016. Anyways.
I think I'd agree with both of you. I They definitely think Dark World is better than the first one. It was, I mean, the title says it was definitely darker.
Yeah, just even just the visuals was just everything. It just had a dark hue to it.
It really did. I think it was better than the first one. Had a lot more. I think it had more action.
Oh yeah, definitely, because there's a lot of dark elves. There's a lot of battling.
They attack Asgard.
Okay, well, let's get on to the next one. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Me personally, I think that this was a big turning point for Marvel. I think this picked up the pace immensely. This movie blew me the fuck away, and it actually, when I saw it after I got out of the theaters, because I was a really huge fan of Avengers. Avengers at the time was my absolute favorite of the MCU, and I left that theater completely replacing my number one Marvel film in the MCU and making it Winter Soldier, because that movie blew me away. Like, it is absolutely just. I'm more on the fact that they made it more than a superhero film. At that point, it was a political thriller, because it was the rise and fall of a government agency, basically. So that just took it over the edge to me, and it fell in a perfect character's movie, which was Captain America, because the Captain needed that spice, I think.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, red, white, and blue, and it gets bland after a minute. A lot of people will agree with me with Captain America. It can get kind of bland. So throwing that type of spice into the movies, it really made for... like what they're doing with Civil War, even. Like, they're picking up the pace even more now. They're like, fuck that. We're going to throw in the Cap universe.
That's just the thing. Captain America is exactly what it sounds. It's politically based.
Exactly.
I mean, it literally is.
Yeah. And then, you could argue that First Avenger was a political thriller too, because they were battling Nazis, but it was more of a propaganda film. I mean, like how they depicted the whole World War II propaganda, how it was depicted in the comics. Like,
you have to kind of do that with Captain America. I mean, that's some of the things. He's fought Hitler in the comics,
exactly.
Nazis, all the
he's
time.
The symbol
World War II.
of all of America. All that's good in America and just and right and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
But seeing Bucky return, that was amazing. The Winter Soldier, I'd never read that storyline, and when I found out what the movie was going to be about, I was really excited. I was like, oh my god, I kind of did a quick synopsis, found out what it was about basically, and I'm like, this is going to be awesome to bring this into the comics. Okay, great. When I saw the announcement for it, everybody was super geeked. I'm sitting there like, the Winter Soldier? Who dat? I'm like, is that Captain America? Is he going to Alaska? What's going on? But yeah, I did my research because I'm a noob with Captain America. But yeah, I was really excited. They represented Bucky really well, not only in the first Avenger, but especially in this Winter Soldier movie. Robert Redford, awesome, amazing actor. Brought him in as basically the lead of Hydra in throughout S.H.I.E.L.D. basically, and that was killer. Robert Redford, as soon as that that was announced, a lot of people was really, even people that weren't even comic book fans were really into that movie specifically for Redford. That was one thing. Even my mom is a big comic book fan, but she also was like, well, Robert Redford's going to be in the movie too, so I'm going to watch it either way. Basically. Maybe that's just an old mom thing, I don't know.
I know some people who were just waiting for him to peel off his face and be Red Skull.
Red Skull. I don't think they were going to go with that.
I know.
Because, I really hope that they just basically do what they did with Cap. They find Red Skull in a thing of ice finally, and they're like, oh, well, let's resurrect this guy. And Hydra, we're still here, guys. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That movie was just all around just badass. What's your opinion, Jimithy?
I think you hit on a lot of the good points there. Definitely just all around badass. We went in theaters to see that. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Absolutely. The entire fucking time. And it also introduced, not only did it have a lot more action than obviously the first Captain America film, but it also introduced us to the Falcon.
Yeah, that's the first time you got to see Falcon.
Which I was pretty excited about. I was wondering how they were going to do his suit, and they did it really well. The way they ended up making his outfit look, because in the comic books it's really cheesy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they even did blend a little bit of the comic books in the Civil War version and the Ant-Man version of of the Falcon. But no, I really enjoyed how they did that. Anyways, back to you. I just want to say that.
I think we can move on.
Okay.
We hit on all the points there. Yeah, I think it was a really good one. Kept me on the edge of my seat the entire movie.
All right, I'll let you start this one out then. Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's definitely one of my tops all-time Marvel movies of anything that's in the cinematic universe or not. I think they did great with that. And that was one that I don't think many people knew about.
No.
When they heard that was going to be Marvel, they were like, what is this? What's Guardians of the Galaxy? Yep. Who's this big-ass tree? Why is there a talking raccoon? Why is this girl green?
Yep.
Like, it was just crazy. It was this B-class superhero movie that no one knew about and hit it big.
Yep, exactly. Like, when I saw that, honestly, what it was the half of the fans of Marvel who don't really know anybody but the main story arcs are like, what is this? And then all the real hardcore nerds who do know Guardians are like, oh yes. I know I fucking geeked when I heard it.
They took a big leap putting Guardians into the theaters and not just going straight to DVD with this movie or even a Netflix original, trying it that way.
Yeah.
I think they took a big jump, and the director being one of his first big cinematic debuts with a Marvel movie, great.
Director James Gunn. Yep.
Yes.
He did awesome. And we appreciate James Gunn not only for directing Guardians of the Galaxy, but we know him also as a director in Troma films. We've always been a big fan of the cheesy-ass Troma films. If you're not familiar with it, Randy, it's people who made Toxic Avenger.
Okay,
Yeah.
James Gunn started from the bottom, now he's here.
Yeah, exactly.
He did B-class independent movie company out of New York City, and now he's making cinema for Marvel, Hollywood.
And a cool little Easter egg, if a lot of people don't know, is that the person who gave him his first directing shot in Troma, director of The Toxic Avenger, Lloyd Kaufman, he actually put him in Guardians of the Galaxy. In the big cell, they're the big prison place that they're in. He's in one of the yellow jumpsuits and on one of the rafters yelling at the Guardians, basically. And that's Lloyd Kaufman, and it's really as soon as we saw that we both geeked because we're like, oh my god, look at Lloyd Kaufman. Nobody else probably knew what was up, but he gave him that. He probably said, all right, well, you gave me my first shot. Now I'm gonna give you a scene in your first big Hollywood film. You know what I mean? So I appreciate James Gunn for that. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen from a Marvel director so far.
Yes, that's dope.
Did you have anything else?
Soundtrack alone.
Yes,
this movie takes the cake.
Yes, this by far has the best soundtrack of any Marvel film. By far.
It makes the movie not actually, but it's part of it.
I really do. No, you're right. No, honestly, it does make the movie. It really does. I mean, there's a lot of visual effects. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of awesome characters that we know and love. But on top of that music, if the music's terrible, you're not going to get into the film. So it really does make the film. It molds it into a really great film.
But it's just the timing for each of the songs and everything. Sometimes it's just so perfect.
Perfect.
It's like Dark Side of Oz almost. You know what I mean? to compare it to anything.
Yeah.
But I agree. I was excited with James Gunn directing. I'm glad he's already submitted the script for Guardians 2, I believe. So I strongly anticipate
submitted it earlier this month.
Yep.
Volume
Started
2.
writing it back in June, I believe it was. On his first draft of his script was in June.
Yep.
And he just submitted it this month.
As far as anyone knows, it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Right. Yeah. But I as we said before with the cast, fucking perfect. Everybody was just amazing, one by one, just everybody. Even Banderas as the Collector, which we had already seen in Thor: The Dark World. By the way, that was one thing I didn't mention about Thor: The Dark World that I did enjoy was the fact that they brought in the Collector, and it was Antonio Banderas. No, not Banderas. Excuse me.
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro. Wow. Once again, 3 S's. Top one we smoke. All right.
We swear.
We just did that.
We're so sorry. We're not sorry.
Now we need to see Antonio Banderas as the Collector.
Fighting.
So you can't see my collection.
Fighting Benicio del Toro as the Collector. No, we just need to see Zorro versus the Collector.
Zorro versus the Collector.
No, the Collector has Zorro in one of the cases.
He's got El Mariachi.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised like Magic Johnson or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wasn't back there somewhere in a glass case. No. Like that's pretty funny. But we did get to see
Howard the Duck
and Astro. Yeah, we got to see Astro, which a lot of people totally did not even understand.
Yeah.
Like, they understand Howard the Duck because what Marvel and George Lucas did Howard the Duck forever
back
ago in the 80s.
Yeah, Jason Alexander.
Yeah, it's a good film. I actually like it. A lot of people think it's cheesy.
See,
but
no one I've talked to about it has ever brought up the fact that was Astro, and that's kind of what I had thought. Because, I mean, it's a Marvel movie.
Oh, it's Astro. It's definitely Astro.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me. They've already put him in a couple of the animated films as well.
Nice.
I believe in the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon that we just saw, Astro was in there too, and he actually had his abilities. Because in this one, he's just kind of a dog, you know what I mean? It looks like he doesn't have his abilities yet.
Right.
So that's one thing I was excited. I hope we see Astro in the next Guardians, because I mean, I know they might, they've already kind of hinted that they might put Howard the Duck in there, but there's going to be no full-length Howard the Duck film. But seeing both of them again would be reoccurring characters. It'd be fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to tie into bringing, like going back to Earth, Peter Quill going back to Earth and finally meeting the Avengers and, throughout the Infinity Wars. So that's going to be something that's going to be fucking awesome that they'll probably tie into the second one. But yeah.
Agreed.
I totally 100% agree with Jimithy. The soundtrack is... fucking hashtag keeping it 200%. Holy shit. Like, I mean, I haven't, there's maybe a handful of soundtracks that I will actually purchase, and that is one that I will purchase. Like, I don't have it. My wife bought a digital copy of it from somewhere, from iTunes.
They were cool enough to give it away for free.
Yeah,
it was free.
But that makes me want to buy it even more, honestly, and support it. Like that type of stuff. Like I don't know. I can think of maybe 4 or 5 soundtracks that I actually own that I enjoy. You know what I mean? Like the Queen of the Damned soundtrack. You know what I mean? That's an amazing one. The Spawn soundtrack.
Yes.
Dracula 2000. I thought
there's
was
a
amazing.
handful of solid soundtracks.
Yeah, exactly. And like this one, like. Just it really kind of surpassed a whole handful of the ones that I've that are in my head right now. Like it really brings it up there.
I sent Alan a text message the other day because I was at the mall with my girlfriend and I was in FYE and they sell vinyl now, and lo and behold, right there is the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack on vinyl. I held it up and my girlfriend's
awesome.
like, no. She's like, nope. She's like, we don't have a record player. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm like, it's a good soundtrack.
Right, true that. Yes. All right, let's go to the next one, which is Avengers, The Age of Ultron. You want to start, Randy?
Oh, yes. I would love to start. This is the movie that had me on the edge of my seat. I mean, also laughing quite a bit.
Yeah,
the whole trying to pick up Thor's hammer at the party, that was great.
Yeah, that and that's one scene that's the one full scene that they actually leaked out before the movie came out.
Yep.
So it was fun to watch that scene before everything got fucking real and you got to see Ultron for the first time. But yeah, anyways.
Thor almost shits himself in that scene.
I know.
Cap goes the fuck out of him, man.
It budges. Takes him back for a second.
Oh, yeah.
But yet later, Vision just hands it to him, and everybody's just in shock and awe.
Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why Vision could pick up...
The Mind Stone?
Yeah.
The Mind Stone.
You think the Mind Stone lets him pick it up?
I do. I think that just the way he is... with the Mind Stone, it makes him worthy because he's not... I don't believe he has bad intentions. I believe that he has intentions similar to that of Thor, that he's actually, there to protect the Earth.
Right. Well, a lot of people speculated that it was because his hammer resurrected Vision, or brought Vision to life.
That's also...
I don't agree with you. I mean, the Mind Stone, that's very viable to me. The other one I don't really believe personally. We were given one by our buddy Sean, aka Ginger McCormick, that I believe is one of Vision's abilities that he can change the density of an object because he can completely phase through objects.
Okay.
So the fact that he could change the density means that he could probably make Mjolnir nothing and lift it up and hand it to Thor.
That makes perfect sense.
Right, and like I'm not very fluent on Vision either. I've read some of the earlier Avengers comics with Vision in it, but I've never read straight Vision story arc ever. So I really don't know his complete list of abilities. But if he can change the density of an object and they actually bring that in, then doable, totally doable for me. So I agree. I enjoy that. What about you, Jimithy? How do you feel about Age of Ultron?
I very much liked Age of Ultron.
Pretty sure that's another one that both me and Jimithy watched like opening weekend, if not opening day.
Saw that, yeah. Right when it came out in theaters, on the edge of the seats. I don't know, it was great, just action-packed. And it was one of those that I was a little skeptical on because they're throwing so many superheroes and villains into one movie. And it's kind of like a Spider-Man 3 scenario. And are they going to screw everything up?
You know, that's funny because that's what I actually said on our Batman v Superman podcast. That's actually what I said about that movie.
Yeah.
Was that might end up being the case, basically.
A Spider-Man 3 problem.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Too many villains.
But
not enough movie.
no, I think it was great. One of my really only problems with it is that you don't get a reference to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch being related to Magneto or any sort of reference to the mutants in the X-Men universe.
Exactly. At least in Deadpool, they're somewhat referring to Colossus with X-Men.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure they're using the word X-Men again, and they're using mutants, and I'm sure there's been some sort of legal binding, whatever, with Fox and Disney.
So we're not mad at you, Marvel. We just wanted to see it.
Not being able to use the words mutants and X-Men and having two different Quicksilvers in the superhero universes right now. Well, I guess, spoiler alert if nobody's seen it, but one of them's dead.
We do all spoilers on this show. Basically, this show is post-discussion. We do some pre-discussions, but not much. But yeah, that honestly, I want to ask this question before you finish your thought here. Who is everybody's favorite Quicksilver of the two?
I was gonna ask that as well.
I'm gonna say that I enjoyed the X-Men version better.
I'm in full agreement with you there.
So is that unanimous on the table?
I like the X-Men one, the X-Men universe version of Quicksilver better. But the fact that the Marvel Quicksilver universe is in fact Russian, I do like that.
Right.
Yeah. That was...
Yeah, because their adoptive family, the Maximoff, their last names are Maximoff. Well, I don't know about Pietro. I know that Brenda's name is Maximoff. I don't know about Pietro. I
mean, he may be Russian in the X-Men universe, but he did not have that dialect and the accent. You definitely hear it in Avengers.
And I love the whole headphones thing with X-Men.
Yeah,
like, that whole
that
thing,
was
like,
great.
That made that scene for me, honestly, and the fact that he looks.
He's wearing a Rush. He's wearing a Rush t-shirt.
Right, and then just the fact that he's just like, hey, you look like somebody my dad used to hang out with, or my mom used to hang out with. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of good comedic values to that.
Absolutely.
And he will be reprising that role in X-Men Apocalypse.
Yep, absolutely. And now we're back down to one Quicksilver, which I think was maybe their aim in the cinematic universe. We'll bring Quicksilver in. We're going to kill him off. He's already kick-ass. We can't keep him as two superheroes.
That too. I think Marvel has something with using characters and actors that have been in the same movies or flip-flopping between DC and Marvel or other superhero movies. Both Quicksilvers are in Kick-Ass.
Yep.
And then you get Chris Evans flip-flopping from Fantastic Four being Human Torch, now being Captain America.
You also got
Halle Berry, Catwoman to Storm.
You have Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool to Green Lantern. There's so many.
We won't mention that. I don't even. He doesn't even want to mention that.
Trust me, neither do I. I hate that version. Hate it.
I love how they hit at that in the new Deadpool trailer.
Don't make it green
some of the clips. Yeah, they even hit at his role in the Wolverine movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
They're making fun of Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern and Ryan Reynolds as post Deadpool.
Well, it fits because, like, as everybody knows, hopefully Deadpool breaks the fourth wall.
Pre-Deadpool, post Deadpool. now is breaking the fourth wall, and I think going to be spot on. But we're not discussing that right now.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Avengers Age of Ultron. Oh man, one of the best in my opinion. I really enjoyed the way that they got into Vision, because I was just the whole idea of Vision coming into the Avengers, because they kind of hinted towards it quite a bit before the movie came out. So that knowing that we're gonna see Scarlet Witch and at least Scarlet Witch defect over to the Avengers side, I mean, I knew that was kind of for certain, because she's a pretty pivot. She actually marries Vision in the comics.
Okay.
So that's a pivotal Avenger right there.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed that. Just the entire conflict. The only thing I was kind of weird about was how they did Ultron, with like how they brought Ultron to life. Basically, they kind of made it like it was a Banner Stark thing.
Okay. Yeah, because it's supposed to be Hank Pym.
Yes. Yep. Hank Pym was the one in the
I
comics.
think they do hint at that.
But
somewhat.
no, this. Now I want to go through. We haven't done a theory in a while. This is a theory that I have about the MCU. Now,
Okay.
I don't think that Tony and Banner did create Ultron. I believe that it was Thanos. Because in the scene where they're in the scene post first Ultron incident at the party, they're discussing what had happened and who that was, basically. And they said, I believe Tony said, Banner, did we even come close to an interface? I don't think we did. And Banner said, yeah, we kind of did. But so that right there kind of makes me think, well, okay, they were up there, but they didn't have it yet. Right. And then when Tony and Banner happen to leave for the party, it just kicks on. Now, what seals the deal for me is the end credit scene when Thanos opens the case and he picks up the gauntlet and says, well, fine, I guess I'll do it myself. That line solidifies to me that Ultron was awakened by Thanos. And I'll refer back to earlier in the film when Thor comes out of that pit. He says, we're all puppets in a game, and I want to know who's playing the strings, basically, is what he says before he flees. And that right there kind of also supports the idea that Thanos, booted up Ultron. So that's my theory. I could be wrong, but let me know how you guys feel about that. If you guys agree, disagree, whatever, let me know. Let me know how you feel. We're on Facebook. What do you have anything to add, Randy, for Age of Ultron?
It was excellent from beginning to end. Love the Hulkbuster. I mean,
yes, yeah, that's worth mentioning. Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Like everybody kind of knew when they saw the Hulkbuster what was going to happen. Scarlet Witch is going to fuck with the Hulk somehow, and he's going to start destroying shit. So you kind of knew the setup for what was going to happen in that fight, and even then you knew that it was just going to be a fucking battle fest, just a straight battle fest. Like, I don't know if Hulkbuster is really strong enough to knock out the Hulk.
Right.
Because, honestly, I think the Hulk... I don't know. There's a part of me that didn't... But at the same time, it wasn't quite the Hulk. It was somebody fucking with his head type,
Yeah.
So he wasn't in the game fully. So, I mean, I can see it, but at the same time, that's one thing I do question about the fight. But just the Hulkbuster armor, just alone, just killed it for me.
Yeah.
Killed it. Amazing.
Even replacement parts if he needed. That was
pretty dope, and it was needed. I mean, you can't fight the Hulk with one suit of armor. You can't. There's no way. There's not one suit that'll be able to defend.
That is like gigantic too. That suit is so much more steel. It's so much more intricate, and I mean it's thicker, and he still just tears through it like it's nothing.
Right. Absolutely. Indeed. All right. Let's move on to the next and final movie of Phase 2, and that is Paul Rudd and Ant-Man.
Yes.
Now, I'll start. I don't know the storyline with this other guy as Ant-Man. I know Ant-Man as Hank Pym. I've always known Ant-Man as Hank Pym.
Yeah.
What's the other guy's name?
Scott Lang.
Scott Lang. Okay.
And I personally like that storyline better. I think it was way more realistic.
Yeah.
It was definitely the storyline to use for now where we are this time, it's a more realistic
in the actual cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I agree with that because the whole beginning, the tie-ins from like earlier in the beginnings of Shield with Peggy Reynolds and Peggy Carter, excuse me.
Yeah.
Peggy Carter and Howard Stark trying to get the Pym particle from him, basically.
And if you were to go with
cool.
the Hank Pym Ant-Man, it would have to be more of a prequel.
Exactly. It'd almost be around the time, like probably about 10 to 15 years after Captain America, the first Avenger, somewhere in there is where you'd have to do that.
Right.
I mean, it'd be cool to see, but at the same time, we don't have a young Michael Douglas. You know what I mean? I mean, they did doll him up to look pretty young in that opening scene, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything for the young Ant-Man, the Hank Pym version. No. But yeah, I enjoyed it still. I mean, Paul Rudd is a great actor. There's no doubt about it. He was a good choice for the role. It's glad to see that we see all these really amazing actors get solidified in the cinematic universe. And like I said before, they're under contract, so they're there for good. That's why I'm enjoying the fact we're going to see Spider-Man in Civil War, because we know that he's going to be Spider-Man for a very long fucking time.
Yeah.
When we're done with this battle. We're done with it. And hopefully with Batfleck, we're done too. Because those are the two fucking heroes that it's just like, will you stop, please? Yeah. Pick a fucking guy and keep it going.
I would be happy.
Stop it. One of the two.
I would be happy if they kept Batfleck. It looks like he's going to be amazing for it, and I hope that he doesn't, do a Christian Bale where he only wants to do like 3 things.
Oh right, I thought you were referring to the voice.
No. Oh well, that too, but it doesn't sound like it.
No, they're basically Oliver Queening it. They're giving him like a digital effect over his voice. So. But yeah, I would say overall though it's well done. It was very well done. I'm unsure on the director for Ant-Man, but they did very well, whoever they are, and the acting was phenomenal. Michael Douglas. They introduced the Wasp and the Easter egg that Hank Pym's daughter is going to be the Wasp in the next film.
Yeah.
So that right there, I was really happy because she's more of a tough broad and knows more about this shit than fucking Scott Lang does. So it's seeing that happen, seeing the chemistry and everything. It's going to be really cool to see in the next Ant-Man film. We might even see her in Civil War. We don't know. We know Ant-Man's confirmed in it. We don't know about a Wasp. So, how do you feel about Ant-Man?
Oh, it was excellent. It was full of that Marvel humor in its own way towards the movie.
And that's another reason why Paul was really good for the role.
Yes. And I liked that they made mention to the Avengers. Why don't you call the Avengers? Oh, they're too busy.
Well, shit, they even put an Avenger in it. They put Avengers in it.
I know.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But they made reference to the Avengers dropping the city out of the sky before he sent him to Howard Stark's old compound that is now the new Avengers facility.
Yeah, that was well done. I like that tie-in. The fact they brought in Falcon, and like I said before, he actually looks more like the Falcon now. Like if you see the rim of his goggles, it's like that exact same symbol that's on his head in the comics. So that was really cool as well. Anyways, I'll let you continue.
Oh, that was about it.
Jimithy, how about you? What do you think for Ant-Man?
Like I said previously when you were telling yours, I think it's a great storyline to have now in the cinematic universe with the Scott Lang storyline. I feel it's more realistic, and I personally liked this storyline better in the comics. Just the fact that, I don't know, he was a burglar, a jewel thief, something happens with his daughter, he gets busted out by Hank Pym, he needs help. I don't know, I feel it's more realistic, and yeah, it fits well in the cinematic universe now, as opposed to going back and doing a Hank Pym Ant-Man story, which, like we said, would have to be a prequel around the time of the first Avenger.
Yeah.
But with this one, you get that information that Hank Pym was Ant-Man, and you get that information if you pick up on it. Janet Pym was the Wasp, and she is stuck in this other plane of existence, which Hank doesn't think she can come back from.
But now he
finds out that she can some way because Scott comes back from it.
Exactly.
And that's great. I think you're going to see something with that. I think they're going to bring back Janet in Civil War or possibly Ant-Man 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. It'll probably be. I believe it's going to be titled Ant-Man and the Wasp, the next Ant-Man movie. I believe so. I believe that. I think it's
that would be only proper then if they bring her back from the other. I don't know what they can't remember what they called it in that.
I don't know. I think they just called it. It's called it like into an abyss, but he kind of explains it as like a long
subatomic.
That going subatomic brings you to that place. Basically, is what happens. But it's I don't know what they call it. We'll just call it the other plane of existence.
Yeah.
But anyways, Ant-Man, very good. That ends our Phase 2 discussion. So we're gonna get to our next list, which is our top 3 favorite Marvel movies thus far. We're starting and this can be from Iron Man all the way down to Ant-Man. Everything we've discussed so far. Who wants to start? You want to start, Randy?
I can.
All right.
I'll start. My number 3 is The Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk. Okay.
Yep. I thought that movie was pretty good. I mean, I do enjoy the Hulk. I actually do.
Yeah.
I think it's because that was one of just those early ones that came out, and I seen it. I liked it then. I've rewatched it now, and I kind of have a little bit more judgment on it as to why it'd be not the greatest. But I still do enjoy it. I think it's Nick Nolte as his crazed father.
That's actually Ang Lee Hulk. Yeah.
Okay, yep.
That's
Nick
Ang Lee Hulk.
Nolte's the sergeant.
No, he's not. You talking about Thunderbolt Ross? No,
okay.
He's not even. No, he's not. That's not Nick Nolte either.
No.
Nope.
Well, then who's Nick Nolte in that movie?
Nick Nolte is in the Ang Lee's Hulk. He plays Eric Bana's dad.
Oh.
Bruce Banner's dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
Once again, we smoke, we swear, and we're so sorry that we're not sorry.
Yeah.
Mixing up your Hulks.
Yep, you're mixing up your Hulks, man. Got your Hulks all in a bind.
I know.
Which I just want to put on the record there that we've seen Thunderbolt Ross again. So there is also a very, very deep hint that maybe we could see Red Hulk in the future in the MCU. I'm putting that on this podcast. If it happens, I called it. Anyways,
my number 2 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
amazing movie.
Yes.
We already talked it up. So fucking good.
Same
Solid number 2. Solid number 2.
Same with my number 1. I had to go with Guardians of the Galaxy. Just
Solid number 1.
Loved it.
Absolutely. Yep. And now, in Phase 1, what aside from Avengers, what would you think? What would you say your favorite movie would be in the Phase 1?
A lot of Cap and Iron Man.
Yeah, like everything pre-Avengers, basically.
I'd probably have to go with Iron Man.
Yeah. What about you?
Pre-Avengers, I don't know. It's a real toss-up between Iron Man and Cap for me.
Yeah.
For pre-Avengers.
I'd have to agree with Iron Man. I'm just wondering, because, I mean, from where we are now to where we are then, like, everything's kind of changed as far as, like, they keep topping themselves, you know what I mean? It just keeps stacking and stacking, so I was just curious. Anyways, I'll go on with my list. My number 3 is Avengers Age of Ultron.
Okay, that's solid.
Joss Whedon, awesome director. Love every fucking thing he's done. I have not seen anything bad. I don't care what you say about, I believe it was Dollhouse. Was that the Elijah Dushku show that they did with Joss Whedon?
Awesome.
It was an awesome show. And it was Joss Whedon, Angel, Buffy, Serenity, Firefly, all that shit. Amazing.
He's like King Midas.
Right. He's got the Midas touch. But yes, he took us there with Avengers in 2012, and then he revamped it with Age of Ultron and made it so much more. And we've expanded to the Avengers, and then we've changed up the lineup, which is even more Avengers than you could be at the end of the first Avengers. You know what I mean? You got the team, it's solidified. When you're like, wait a minute, the game has changed now, and we're seeing all this shit. Like, I love the fact that we see Rhodey in it and stuff like that, and we're like, okay, that's cool, it's a little cameo. No, it's not a little fucking cameo, because at the end of the damn film, you get to see fucking War Machine helped kick ass. You know what I mean? Like, that was a great surprise. And then you see Falcon come out of nowhere, and you're like, yes, all these supporting heroes are fucking coming in to help fighting. Yes, Avengers! You know what I mean? Like, it's just that conglomerate. Like, it's how geeked you're gonna be when you finally see all these DC characters form a Justice League. Like, when you see the first Justice League film, you're gonna pop a boner. You might poke the person in front of you in the back of the head when you stand up and shit, and so, you know, in awe. So just be aware of who you're poking. Be aware of who you're poking. Anyways. My number 2 is the exact same as yours, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. One of the best Marvel films. I mean, just the political thriller / action. It blew me away the way they did it. The setup for some of the stuff for the next films. The rise and fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. / Hydra. You know what I mean? I wasn't really expecting that in the MCU, so that's really cool. And now S.H.I.E.L.D's kind of somewhat being resurrected. So I like the way they made that progress in that. Everything they did with Cap, it was very perfect to put that type of political twist into that. You know, because I mean, like we said before, you had to do the World War II propaganda stuff for the first one. Yeah. Because that had to be done. Now they probably sat there and thought, okay, what can we do and keep it within a political stature? And they're like, okay, well, we're bringing Robert Redford in for one.
it did work perfect with Shield. Season 2 of Shield.
Yeah.
That was the whole that swayed the whole show.
Yep. Yeah. It was big turning point.
Yeah. As soon as they're like, Hydra's, been head of Shield the whole time, it's like, oh shit, you know what? All crumbles now. Coulson's the director. They're in hiding. They were being hunted for a long time. Yeah. They're finally kind of like getting out of that again because it's more into they want them now for the inhuman purposes.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's up. Number 1, I am also in agreement with you. Guardians of the Galaxy. I have a feeling that's going to be unanimous. But best Marvel film. There's like you said, how Age of Ultron kept you on your seat. Guardians had me on my seat, had me laughing, had me dancing, had me sad, it had me expressing all these emotions. Like, that's a really, really amazing film to me.
Basically,
if I can throw from beginning to end multiple emotions that I'm feeling and be on the edge of my seat the entire time, that makes a great movie. And like you said, Guardians is not only the best Marvel movie, it's one of the best movies I've seen in a long fucking time. Possibly of all time, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And it's really cool because I enjoy the fact that it was one of those comic book style movies for a comic book that not many people even know or understand.
Right, like, because when the media talked about it, they're like, oh, what's this? Marvel's pulling from the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that's probably verbatim for some internet story. Exactly. And and honestly, now what this movie also did was set the bar for what DC's now doing with Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is basically DC's Guardians. They're like, oh, we're going to take a shot with this film, and it's going to be really good. And it's going to tie into Batman v Superman.
Well, that new trailer.
Yeah, that new trailer is worth mentioning with the with Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
That is one of the best trailers. Like, all right, let's put it this way: when I'm on YouTube and I watch something, and a commercial comes on that you can skip, I usually skip it. Okay. Lately, this Suicide Squad commercial has been that commercial. I've not skipped it once because that's how amazing that commercial / movie is and is going to be.
It seems if they can do it with a good soundtrack just like that, because I mean that the whole song, every part that they decided to show for that movie, it just fits with that song so fucking perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, so good. All right, yeah, Guardians again. Like, I really enjoyed it. Once again, my list is Avengers. Props to Joss Whedon, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Props to Anthony and Joe Russo. And Guardians of the Galaxy. Big props to James Gunn. I'm so impressed with your first Hollywood debut. I can't wait to see what you have in store for 2. I know you won't disappoint, and that's my list. So, anybody else wants to go ahead?
Yep. It's you, Jimithy.
Yeah, I guess that'd be me because that's what's left.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Dirt.
My number 3 would be Ant-Man.
Alrighty.
I just think that's kind of the underdog, but it goes to my top 3 definitely. And for all the reasons I think we've already discussed, it's a solid movie, Solid comedy, solid acting, solid action.
Well, not and like we just said too, like a lot of people wasn't expecting much from Guardians. The same goes to Ant-Man. When they announced Ant-Man, everybody kind of shook their heads and like, now come on now, like now you're really stretching. You know what I mean?
And I think people also questioned Paul Rudd as well.
Oh yeah.
If he was going to be serious enough to be in the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, and I knew he was gonna prove them wrong from the beginning. Like basically, you with Batfleck, that's how I was with Rudd.
I think it works out great. I mean, he's an amazing actor, and he knows when to pull that comedic and that serious.
Exactly. He always has.
And it's all about timing.
Yep.
And it works. I think that whole movie just works great on timing for comedic reasons, for dramatic reasons, for romantic reasons.
And his supporting characters too, the thief buddies of his, that comedic aspect.
Exactly.
That was awesome.
T.I.
Yeah, that was really good. I can't remember the Latino actor, but he is fucking hilarious.
Yes.
He's in a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And with Paul Rudd too.
Yep.
Like they kind of go hand in hand, those two. Yep. I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
Don't freak out.
Yeah. My number 2, I think, would be the first Avengers. Like the original of Phase 1.
Okay.
Just for the fact that
history
holds a special place in my nerdy heart.
Yep.
You're seeing all of these heroes come together for the first time on the big screen. And I think that's just the main reason why that holds my number 2. Number 1, all around the table, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. I figured that was going to be unanimous, honestly.
And I've loved the director for years now, going back to his B movies with Troma Films. Just great director, great writing, great acting, great action, everything. And Chris Pratt, love Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. That was a great lead role for that movie.
It was.
Yeah, and amazing. I think he spot on gets that character. That's his character now. Chris Pratt is Star-Lord.
That's basically Downey as Iron Man too. It's one of those solidified hits basically. You're just like, yep, definitely.
Josh Brolin as the villain was pretty good too.
Is Thanos?
Yes.
Yes.
Was he? Yeah, Josh Brolin.
He's the voice of Thanos. Yep.
Now, who is
Ronan? Is that who you're referring
Ronan.
to? I don't know the actor's name, but he was very good. He was very good, and it was cool because we got to look at the Kree finally. That's another thing. Now imagine, because we see some Krees, we are eventually going to see Skrulls. Yes. So like that's the one thing that I was very happy when I saw they said the Kree Empire. I drooled. I was like, yes, it's only a matter of time before we see some Skrulls, dude. And that's one thing I really look forward to as far as the MCU is concerned. So that's our list. Our top 3 favorite Marvel movies. Basically, we're gonna chat a little bit about the upcoming Phase 3, and then we're gonna get the fuck out of here. So let's start off with the very next one coming out in May of this year, Captain America: Civil War. The trailer that they've put out, I was in awe because A, we got to see our first look at the Black Panther.
Yes.
And B, we got to see our first real hero-to-hero feud. Like, you got to see him skirmish a little in Avengers and in the second one a little, but you did not really see them go on a full-on who's going to beat who fight. And that's what we're going to see in this film.
Oh, yeah.
Bucky and Cap are beating the hell out of Iron Man.
That was my favorite part. That was my absolute favorite part of that trailer, is that they were using the shield as a team.
Just back and forth.
And honestly, that's just crazy. It's awesome, and it's really creative because it's like, you know, he's been on this team with Tony for so long, but he's never had that chemistry with Tony. Ever. Like, the most he's ever done is held a shield while Tony blasted it at a certain angle kind of thing for him. It's about the only teamwork you really see it apparent in films. So, like, you see Bucky and Cap, it kind of solidifies, you're not breaking this bromance up, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's really what it's about. So, I enjoy...
We've been bros since the 40s.
We're going to see Spider-Man. I know, Jimithy, you are excited about that. We are going to see Spider-Man in this film.
I'm excited for Spider-Man to get back in the cinematic universe.
It's about damn time, honestly, and I'm really hoping that they can finally, you know, evolve X-Men and Fantastic Four into this shit. You know what I mean? I don't know if the new Fantastic Four is canon to the MCU or not. I don't believe it is, but I don't know. I haven't even seen it yet. I've heard terrible things. I'm still gonna give it a shot, but
yeah, don't judge shit until you watch it.
Right. I know Jimithy's seen it. He said it wasn't bad, so
I really enjoyed it.
I usually trust his
wasn't
judgment
that bad.
and have about the same opinion that he does. So
I would say it really
wasn't.
differences,
But
it really was not that bad.
Yeah, I probably won't think so either. I like Fantastic Four. The first couple ones they did, the casting was all fucked up. Like Michael Chiklis' Ben Grimm was about the only thing I liked as far as casting.
Yeah.
I did like Lawrence Fishburne as the voice of Silver Surfer. I enjoyed that. The abomination cloud that was Galactus in that second film should have never been on a screen ever.
Yeah.
And there was just so much wrong with both those movies. But I think it'll at least do better than those. That was my depiction from the beginning when I saw the first trailer. I was like, that's going to be better than the shit we watched before. Even if it's terrible, we're still going to get a step up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I think this... Anyways, back to Civil War. I really do... I can't wait to see these two teams of heroes clash. Like, you've already seen in the trailer, fucking War Machine's down and fucking, Iron Man's holding them like, fuck, man, why is this happening? Like, why are we fighting? Kind of shit.
The arc reactor is ripped out of his chest.
And then later on, you see fucking Bucky try to take it out of Iron Man's suit.
Yep.
Which if Iron Man 3 never happened, that would actually kill him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I wonder where Vision stands on this. For one,
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Team Iron Man.
Is he Team Iron Man?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I think honestly that's going to be the swaying battle because he's like I don't know how you're going to stop him. But then again, Scarlet Witch is on Team Cap from what I saw. No, she's on Team Iron Man. Oh, really?
Hawkeye. Okay, Captain's team is Cap, Bucky, Falcon, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and Agent 13.
Okay.
And then we have Iron Patriot.
No, War Machine.
War Machine. My bad.
Do not call him Iron Patriot.
My bad.
We do not speak of that name at this table.
I know. Horrible. But War Machine, Black Widow, Iron Man, Black Panther, and Vision.
That's a hell of a lineup. So
but nobody knows where Spider-Man fits in yet.
I think they're just gonna kind of randomly throw him in. I don't know if he's gonna really have a side, but they might. You never know. You never know. And maybe we'll see because we're seeing Thunderbolt Ross again. Maybe we're gonna see Red Hulk soon. I think that'll be awesome.
Maybe he'll be the difference between the actual fighting. Like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing?
right. Maybe he'll be the voice of reason. Stop all this fighting. Maybe he'll be the kid going, Mom, Dad, quit it. I don't like it when you fight.
Well, he is the first person to unmask when the whole isn't the
yes. In the comics,
books.
yes, in the comic books, he's the first one to take his mask off publicly. But that's not quite what this movie's going to be about.
Yeah,
this movie's going to be more about catching Bucky and keeping Cap in his place. Basically, that's the two. That's the two things. Like basically, it's like we're gonna kill the Winter Soldier, and this is an agreement saying that you're not going to do anything to stop it. Basically, is what they were trying. I think is what's going on. So, it's somewhat weaving into the Civil War story, but it's completely going a different direction at the same time with just trying to capture and kill Bucky.
Right.
So, but anyways, we will go down to November 2016. We will see Doctor Strange. I'm fucking incredibly excited about this. Incredibly excited because not only does Mr. Cumberbatch look fucking awesome as Doctor Strange, but I really enjoyed more than any other Marvel animated film the Doctor Strange one. I honestly thought that was better than any animated Marvel film that they've done. And like when I saw that, I'm hoping, because usually when you see Marvel stuff that comes out, like Marvel animated films that come out before they make a movie, usually they take from that. So I'm hoping that they do take from what they did in the animated film. I really would love to see that. So it's going to be really interesting. Now Marvel's getting into the mystical arts and such. So That's how I feel about it. I'm really excited. I think I know we're gonna see Mordo, so I'm hoping that eventually it's gonna build towards the next movie. We'll end up seeing Dormammu, which will be really fucking cool. You know, that's one thing if you're gonna do Doctor Strange, you gotta have Dormammu. Like
Right.
that's gonna be really cool to lead up to. So
He does look like he's got it down pretty good.
yeah, the pictures they've released, it looks really, really good.
He's got the look. I'm just waiting to see some sort of action with it.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be okay. Now, the one thing I wonder is the hand motions that the actress does in Age of Ultron for Scarlet Witch. It looks kind of similar to what Doctor Strange uses in his, hand motions. So I don't know if they're gonna make that different from the comics or if they're gonna keep it the same. But yeah, honestly, I don't think it's gonna matter. That's just me being kind of picky. But
Right.
it's a question that I raised when I found out that it was coming out soon. So,
Okay.
I don't. Is there anything you want to add for Doctor Strange?
No.
Okay.
Looks good.
After that, in May of 2017, we're gonna see James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or Volume 2, as you put it earlier.
Yes.
I'm excited to see this. I believe they've casted Kurt Russell as. I believe he's going to be Star-Lord's father.
Okay. I can dig that.
I can dig that too. I think the original idea was getting Matthew McConaughey, which I think would have been better.
But he shot it down.
Yeah, but he shut it down. But at the same time, I think Kurt Russell is also a pretty good fit for that. I don't know much about Star-Lord's father. I know a little bit, but the Kurt Russell's kind of assholeish, cocky attitude that he can put off in a film,
Yeah.
I think will be very perfect for Star-Lord's dad. So.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I think we're going to see some more action with like Thanos and the Collector. And like
For sure.
like I said before, it'd be really cool if they tied in Howard the Duck again and Astro,
Yep.
the space dog. Let's see. It'd be really also, like I said before, cool if they bring Peter back to Earth for a little bit and there's some tie-in with the Avengers. Because there's got to be something
Somewhere.
to lead to Infinity War. You know what I mean? And there's going to be a lot of holes if they don't, which Marvel don't leave holes.
No.
They connect the dots every time. So
Between the shows
and
and,
if
the movies.
yeah, and if there's a hole, that just means it hasn't been filled yet, and that's a giggity. That's a nerdy giggity. That's a nerdity.
Nerdy giggity.
Keeping it hashtag 200.
All right, let's give Jimithy a boner and talk about July 2017 when they make the untitled Spider-Man film. It does not have a title yet, but there's a lot of talks about him being in high school basically, and he's already Spider-Man. It's basically the troubles of a teen spider.
Yeah, from what I've heard, you already know the story. So
Exactly.
he's already going to be Spider-Man.
Yep.
He's already going to have his powers.
Which, I mean, will be solidified in Civil War.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he
You
already has
already
abilities
see
there.
him. Yeah,
Well,
there's not
what if-
going to be a build-up.
They might go back to it for a split second.
Yeah.
What if they even introduce Netflix's universe into it? Say, like, this untitled Spider-Man movie is more like Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean,
They've
there's Luke Cage.
They've already
there's-
discussed Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Put Miles Morales' name, which is the other Spider-Man.
The name
Yeah.
has already been introduced into Daredevil.
So we might see two Spider-Men in this. I mean, I don't know if they're going to connect the dots with the Netflix and the cinematic universe. I don't know.
It would be cool, though.
It would be amazing because that's one thing that DC's
That
not
would be
doing.
amazing.
That's why it'll be cool because if they did it, they'd be like, oh, DC's not doing this? Well, let's do it and fucking give the fans what they want. You know what I mean? Because the Netflix originals they've made so far are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, Daredevil. I've seen Daredevil. I need to dabble into Jessica Jones because we're going to be getting to that podcast very soon.
Yeah.
So we definitely. I mean, we've seen Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. I know that. They're working on doing Iron Fist, the Defenders eventually. So I mean, they're not doing that at all with the MCU. So I think they are going to tie it in. But I don't know if they're going to mention it. I mean, eventually it'll probably be mentioned, but I don't think we'll see it pre-Infinity War. I think it'll be something they do post-Infinity War to keep everything fresh, if they do something like that.
That would.
That's just me, though. Right. Who do you think's going to be the villain in the Spider-Man Untitled film?
That one I'm really unsure about. I want it to be a few, but I imagine they're gonna try to go with a goblin type thing again. Yeah.
Sinister Six.
Yeah, they talked about that, but that was already.
Well, yeah, that's what they did for
that was
Amazing.
Supposed to be the new movie.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be.
Yeah, supposed to be the third Amazing Spider-Man film. Which, like, when they set it up, I was actually pretty geeked about.
I know.
You know, and then they kind of dropped the ball again, like they did with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Which I'll tell you one thing right now. I love Sam Raimi. I love the Evil Dead films, all that stuff. I'm glad they dropped the ball with the Sam Raimi films. They picked it back up with the Amazing Spider-Man, and everything was pretty cool.
Yeah,
the ends,
those ones were good.
Yeah, the death of Gwen Stacy, like wow, like it was almost shot for shot in some spots. Like it was amazing.
But that very, very end.
Yeah, where they show the Sinister Six, like they show the Doc arms, the Vulture wings, like everything, man. It looks so crisp. And we were just going to be...
And that was supposed to be the new one.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be out by like either this year or next year, basically. But it didn't happen, so...
Andrew Garfield decided he didn't want to play Spider-Man.
Well, I also heard that he leaked information that he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, that's what I heard,
and they fired him.
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
fired him, canned the project.
Yep.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. But,
Yeah, I really don't know. I want to say that they're probably going to try to throw some Goblin storyline into it, but I personally want to see something with the symbiote, but that would have to be, I think, at least 2 or 3 movies from an origin story.
And that's where Sam Raimi kind of did right. If you're gonna put Venom in there, do it after a couple movies.
Yeah,
you know? But that was the only thing he did right.
The Spider-Man 3 problem: too many villains,
not enough time.
Trying to go back, change part of the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Too many villains, not enough time.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly would like to see like somebody more simplistic, like Mysterio, or I wouldn't say the Shocker. The Shocker would be a good supporting villain, a secondary villain, but not a good main villain.
No.
But you could do both. You could do Shocker and Mysterio. You could do the Chameleon. They did the Lizard. I thought that was a good first movie.
They could do that better because that's a good, story building character with Peter Parker
as the Lizard,
bringing Doc Connors into it.
Exactly. As long as it's not the Leapster, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Oh, the Leapster. You mean the Spot? I'm the Spot. I remember him from the animated show. All right. Anyways, the next one will be November 2017, which is July 7th, 2017 was the untitled Spider-Man film. I think I said November earlier. But November 2017 is going to be Thor Ragnarok. I'm really interested in this because from what I hear, this is the story arc where Thor actually dies. So I wonder if they're going to completely piss off Thor fans and actually kill off Thor, give it to a woman. Give Mjolnir to a woman.
Bruce Banner is involved in Ragnarok.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Which, if you refer to Hulk versus Thor, Loki uses Thor to basically beat the shit out of... oh my god. Loki uses Hulk to fight Thor and beat the shit out of him. And he ends up killing Bruce Banner, and they have to go to hell to bring back his soul, basically, into the Hulk, because he turns the Hulk into just an emotionless rage beast, basically. And, so I wonder if they're going to pick from that versus animated film or not. Like I said before, they like doing that every now and again, so... I wonder about that, but we haven't... That had the Enchantress in it, which we haven't seen, but we might see soon, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm interested. I'm really interested because something I thought when I first heard about Ragnarok and the fact that Thor dies in the comic book storyline is that maybe he dies and finds his way back. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in the comics, Loki's daughter is actually the keeper of hell, of their hell. I don't know if they call it hell or whatever, but that's something I was pondering when I heard about that. I'm interested in it. Like I said, Thor. We've all kind of said Thor's kind of the lower end of the Marvel movies. Basically, Dark World was okay. The first Thor was definitely that low end setup film that not many people were into. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what's gonna happen because at this point in time, technically, Loki is in charge of Asgard. He's posing as Odin, running shit. So I mean that's going to be interesting in itself to jump into when he returns to Asgard.
Right,
So-
which, as you see, he disappeared right at the end of Age of Ultron.
Exactly. It's the setup for Ragnarok basically. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I think it's gonna be a step up from Dark World. I don't think they're gonna disappoint as far as that goes. But I really question what they're gonna do with it.
Right.
I really do. Is there anything you want to add, Jimithy? All right, we'll go to the next one, Black Panther, and that'll be out February 2018. Now that's kind of a time jump because I mean we're gonna see Black Panther in 2016 here for Civil War, and then we're not gonna see him for 2 more years. Which you never know, they may tie him into a different Marvel movie, but I'm interested to see this. What I've seen so far in Civil War trailers of Black Panther looks really good.
Yeah.
Looks really good. So I wonder what's going on and who the storyline's going to be representing, basically. Like what villains they're going to use. I don't know much about the Black Panther, other than where he's from and who he is. But yeah, I know they're very technologically advanced in Wakanda. So I wonder if they're gonna use that or not.
Right.
When they showed Wakanda in Age of Ultron, it didn't really look like it, but you never know. We might see it. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? You guys think it's a good reach to go with Black Panther? I mean, I believe he is an Avenger eventually, so I mean, I think it works. But
yeah. I mean, why not? They introduced where he's from and everything in Age of Ultron, and if I'm correct, the salvage guy who loses his hand is actually a Black Panther villain.
is he?
Yes.
Okay. So we might see him again then.
I'm fairly certain that we will see him, because that was like kind of the making of it right there. Chops off his limb.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, all right, we have Avengers Infinity War Part 1, May 2018. Once again, it's gonna be that redefining moment where we see all these heroes that have been built up to this moment come in. And from what I hear, I believe Marvel has confirmed that there's going to be, I want to say 64 superheroes or 64 Marvel characters for the Infinity War, that they're going to base 64 Marvel characters that are going to be within Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2. That is fucking insane. How many fucking superheroes and supervillains we're going to see in that storyline. Like, that blows me away.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, and it's just going to be an all-out raging battle. Like, it's going to be amazing. So, I can't wait for that. I know it's going to be amazing. I'm not sure if Whedon is going to be directing. I believe they.
I hope so.
I think they have. I think they have 2 different directors for that.
I believe they do as well. They've been doing that a lot lately. They'll just have the previous director help.
Right, consult and whatnot. All right, so July of 2018, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's going to be cool. Paul Rudd. There's going to be a lot of comedy, I'm sure.
Yes.
Like you were saying before, maybe they go on a mission to get Janet Pym back.
Yeah,
it's totally feasible.
I definitely think that's going to be somewhat of the storyline.
At least I think that's what Hank Pym's going to be at least working on.
Yeah.
Maybe as a secondary storyline.
Yeah, now that he knows you can come back from there. Yeah.
And for all we know, I mean, like, I don't know. She could be young still. You know what I mean? We don't know because it's some weird plane of existence where the rules don't really matter. So, it looks like it's gonna be good. The suit they gave for the Wasp looks really sweet. So I think we'll see the Wasp before this movie. More than likely, we're gonna see her in the Infinity War Part 1. But if not, can't wait to see the new edition. Next, which is March of 2019, we'll see Captain Marvel.
Oh.
And they've already confirmed that it's going to be Carol Danvers, because there's been a couple Captain Marvels. Okay. I don't know much about Captain Marvel, but I am pretty excited to see I'm excited to see stuff that I don't know much about. You know what I mean? Because then I can research, check it out, and be like, okay, maybe read some comics before I get into the movie, watch the movie, and see how they did. You know what I mean? or flip it to the opposite, because I've done that before. I've watched a movie and then I'm like, okay, well, like Watchmen. I watched the movie Watchmen before I read the graphic novel, and I wanted to see how much it represented to the graphic novel. And holy shit, like it's perfect. Like it's really super close to the book. Like that's probably the closest movie you'll ever see to a comic, to a graphic novel, honestly.
Okay.
Anyways.
Oh crap. I'm kind of jumped off the rails with my train of thought there. It happens though.
But yeah, is there anything you want to add, Jimithy, about Captain Marvel? I think it'll be interesting. I think they should, somewhere in here we need to see Nova, like the real Nova.
You said it's supposed to be a female character.
Yeah, Carol
correct?
Danvers. Yep.
Okay, then that leads me to believe that this could very well be correct. But Ronda Rousey has been trying to become Captain Marvel.
Really?
Yep.
That would be cool. That would be really. She's been in movies before, so
Yep.
I mean, I believe she's in the newest Fast and the Furious movie.
Yep.
She's in the Entourage movie.
Yes.
So I mean, it would be cool to see her actually play a superhero. That'd be fun. I would enjoy that, honestly.
It'd be a
I've
good
seen
pick,
stuff
too.
for that as well, that she wants to be Captain Marvel. She wants to be Carol Danvers.
That's what's up.
I would agree with it.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
support
I
it.
could see it.
I support
could
it
see
as well. I totally support it. We here at the Geekly Gab and Article Nonsense Show support Ronda Rousey as Carol Danvers, a.k.a. Captain Marvel. You put that on your notepad. All right, May of 2019, we're going to see the finisher there, Avengers Infinity War Part 2. We're going to see it. You know that it's going to be like Infinity War Part 1 is going to be like Empire Strikes Back. It's going to leave out on this downer. There's going to be some fucked up conflicts that have not been resolved. And then finally, it's all going to end at the end of Infinity. It's going to be Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? Where there's going to be a big fucking celebration with Ewoks. And they could do it. Disney owns both, so.
Right?
But no. In all seriousness, though, that movie I'm pretty sure is going to be the best Avengers movie that they put out. It's going to be that shit right there. So and it really raises that question of what's next for the Avengers after that. You know what I mean? What are they going to do at that point? Are they going to bring a whole new team in, or are they going to try and? I think they're killing at least a handful of people. If you're going to do 64 characters, you're killing at least 20 of them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of supporting characters are going to die, and a few main characters are going to die. I have a big prediction that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be one of the characters that dies in the Infinity Wars.
Does not surprise me one bit.
He's been here from the beginning. I think he's probably getting tired. He's probably saying, fuck this, I'm done. By Infinity War Part 2, I believe Robert Downey Jr. his character will be dead. That's my prediction.
Interesting, though. What if Mark Wahlberg would have been Iron Man?
I would have hated it.
Okay.
I like Mark Wahlberg and his comedy. His comedic stuff is pretty funny. I liked him in Fear, one of his earlier films. It's a really good movie. But like I could never see him as Tony Stark, especially compared to now.
I guess.
Jarvis, boot up the Mac 2.
Hey Jarvis, I need the Mac 2. Can you get them? We don't have control of the Mac 2. Oh my god.
I guess cast when he found out they were trying to cast an Iron Man, he wanted to be Iron Man.
That's hilarious.
I know.
All right, and the final one, July 2019, we have Inhumans. And they might even have pushed it to, I believe they pushed it to 2020, I think, is when they're putting out Inhumans now. But I could be wrong. I'm excited because, like I said, it's something I don't know much about. Same with Captain Marvel. Everything they're doing in S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. seems to be leading up to Inhumans. So it's going to be a very long build-up, and it's probably going to be worth it.
Season 3 is straight up packed with Inhumans, and there's actually even another planet. If you watch Season 2, there's the Obelisk.
Okay.
Excuse me. It ends up sending Fitz. No, not Fitz. Opposite of Fitz. Simmons, yes.
Yeah.
It sends Simmons to another planet.
Oh, wow.
And she is trapped there for quite a while.
Okay.
Like a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to check that out. I'll have to check that out. Like I said, I'm still behind a little on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that'll change very soon. So that is our Phase 1, 2, and 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe catch-up. We're finally here probably our longest podcast to date. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. We're going to end this with a little celebration, and we're going to crown Randy as a full-on fucking host this week. So, all right, Randy. Fucking, yeah. Hey,
Thank you.
We miss you, Alan. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Stay tuned for next week's adventure. We're going to be talking about the first season of Ash versus the Evil Dead. I cannot wait. The funniest dyke I know, Chris Dyke, local comedian, will be here to discuss as well. And hopefully we'll see a few other familiar faces, or here in your case, but that's been our discussion on the MCU catch-up. We can't wait to see what the Marvel Universe has in store for us. We've always been waiting for it, and now we all get to see it. I know me and Jimithy from young wee lads, we've been wanting to see this venture take place, and now we're living it. We're watching cinematic history. Something we can always appreciate as far as superhero history as well. So,
Yes.
on that beautiful note, I am Shane,
I'm Randy.
I'm Jimithy.
and we are out this bitch. You have a marvelous day.
This has been an Upside Down production. The Geekly Gab and Nerdical Nonsense Show was recorded in the Green Room at the Command Center in Muskegon, Michigan. Thanks for tuning in.